Did somebody order a post-apocalypse? Introducing a project from the Russian workshop Moto Nexus, the Gangrena. Its 300 horsepower can easily move its incredible 1,543 pounds of weight at a maximum of 253 miles per hour. This motorcycle has a V8 engine and an automatic transmission from a Toyota Land Cruiser, as well as a front suspension Mark II all-wheel drive with 2 chains. Thanks to this, torque is transmitted directly from the engine to the 14.17-inch rear wheel. This gives it such power that it's a struggle just to restrain the bike with the rear brake even while idling. But don't worry, this beast can be kept in check. Its brakes are also lethal. In the front, there are 2 calipers from a BMW GTL 1600, and another one from a Brembo and a BMW GS 800 behind that. And the cherry on top, a steering wheel and headlight from Harley-Davidson. The equipment and special helmet style will delight fans of the game Fallout. A cross between a motorcycle and a tank? No problem! The Panzer bike was created by the geniuses from the Harzer Bike Workshop in Germany while listening to Rammstein. The result was a motorcycle with a sidecar from the 40s, but its size is amazing! This monster weighs almost 10,450 pounds, has a length of 19 feet, and a width of 9.1 feet. Dimensions that match the V12 engine of a Soviet T-55 medium-sized tank. It's almost impossible to control such a monster, so a separate steering wheel was installed on the sidecar. But its most important feature is the impression it makes. A cruise missile, mines, a gas mask and a helmet, and the coat of arms of the USSR, quite an impressive steampunk. This motorcycle by Vitaly Selyakov from the Balamudi workshop was inspired by the Anakin Skywalker's pod racer, but this bike's competition is waiting on the ice. Its base was a Ducati Hypermotard 1100, but the original filling wasn't up to the task. 100 horsepower wasn't enough. Then the designer decided to go big and increase the power of the V-shape engine using the Garrett GT35 front case. He turned off the turbine, modified it into a centrifugal supercharger system, and got 700 horsepower out of it, twice as much as the Gangrena. The motorcycle, nicknamed Yondu, was completely modified to work at low temperatures. Selyakov plans to race around Lake Baikal at -13 degrees Fahrenheit. He also added 3 wheels with moon-shaped discs instead of 2. Thanks to the studded rubber on each of them, the bike holds firm on slick surfaces. The chrome retro finish gives the icebreaker a special touch. The Ducati digital dashboard makes driving easier, and the Brembo brakes keep things in control. Another Russian creation, this is not a show scooter that is not capable of driving. This is a functioning custom bike. The geometry of the bike has been completely changed. Its form took priority, while its guts took a back seat. No wonder the author of this project named his work the Chimera, named after a mythological monster with 3 heads on one body. True, the 3rd head of this bike is a dual, but we'll call that a modern interpretation. How the motorcycle takes turns and maneuvers remains a mystery, but is it really a project of practicality? It's just gotta drive! Become a social media star by modifying your bike? Simple! Especially if you're the owner of a Suzuki GSX 1300R Hayabusa high-speed serial motorcycle, which has been in the Guinness Book of World Records. The top speed of this model is 194 miles per hour. Watch how briskly it flies through the tunnel. Its custom neon lights look especially impressive against the background of snow-white plastic. To improve the already excellent aerodynamics on the custom bike, the windshield and rear view mirrors have been replaced. It looks amazing! Combine several cars with the brutal chrome of a truck tractor and some components of the Discovery 2 shuttle? Easy! Here's the crazy creation of a craftsman from Russia. His futuristic bike also got a rare lever front suspension, the kind that were eventually put on the Harley-Davidson heavy motorcycles and Soviet Urals. The incredible rear suspension adds its own charm, as does the decor. How's that for creativity? Write it in the comments. This baby weighs just 70.5 pounds, can go 31 miles per hour, and drive 90 miles on one tank. The British Intelligence and Sabotage Service in the 1940s believed that it was better to drive poorly than walk well, and equipped its parachute regiment with a light, portable well bike. The unusual motorcycle easily fit in a container of 51 by 15 by 12 inches and could be laid out and started in just 11 seconds. The well bike had a rear brake, but a headlight wasn't a reliable feature for obvious reasons. Did you know that Russian designers managed to work on Batman? This bike won't fly like the Batpod from The Dark Knight, but the Bet 1000 easily picks up at 62 miles per hour in 5 seconds. And all thanks to the rear gearbox with a reduced gear ratio, giving it an incredible torque from the start. The base of this motorcycle from the future was the Suzuki TL1000 model with its L-twin. The Craftsman also left the standard tank and instrument panel. Look at this seat, it's not just a sissy bar. With the help of a hydraulic mechanism, it's been transformed from 1 to 2. How about that attention to detail? Where else have you seen wheels with spinners in the shape of the Batman sign? The Batpod's American replica looks amazing too. Surprisingly, this is a legal street bike. The Aprilia Mana engine displaces 0.85 liters with 76 horsepower with wheels worthy of a powerful SUV. But the Batpod gradually increases in power and is always ready to accelerate to 100 miles per hour. The creator of this masterpiece, Dave Welch, is the master craftsman of the licensed motorcycle manufacturer Chopper City, USA. The bike was sold at the Chopper City store on eBay for $30,000. This, of course, is not the $327,000 received for the original at the prop store auction, but for a replica, it's not bad. Check out this diesel monster! Its size in comparison with a person is amazing, but it really does exist. The crazy ape hanger style handlebars look more appropriate than ever. They are intentionally reclined to reduce control effort. Imagine the turn radius of this custom bike. It's probably like a train. It's hard to believe that it can be controlled at all. You won't miss the Yamaha Motoroid in traffic. Its stylish concept is equipped with an electric motor, and the lithium-ion batteries are disguised as chrome cylinders. The unusual inverted front suspension makes it futuristic. But the Yamaha Motoroid is not just transport, it's lively and trained. You don't need to go to the parking lot to find it, it will come to you. This machine's vision system helps the bike recognize its owner and respond to a command issued by a gesture. But that's not all. The motorcycle is endowed with the ability of tactile communication with the driver and is trained thanks to the artificial intelligence system. Look how politely it invites the pilot to take a seat and how carefully it secures the rider. To create this turbo beast, Sam Turner from Atlanta, Georgia, USA used a 0.84-liter Yanmar diesel engine from a concrete mixer, 2 RHB31 turbochargers, and an intercooler from Suzuki Swift. The wheelbase is an impressive 11.4 feet, and the structure itself is very heavy. The trick is its hydraulic suspension. The engines for the system were taken from a Regent spreader, and the designer took the pump from a sawmill machine. But where is the hydraulic fluid tank? In a hollow pipe in the frame. It holds 20 liters. Interesting choice. How about an ATV in the trunk of a car? The Taurus 2x2 small-sized all-terrain vehicle is completely collapsible. The front suspension is patented, you only need to unscrew one bolt on it and you can fold the bike up. The steering wheel, trunk, and seats are also quickly removable. The Taurus 2x2 is equipped with a Lifan or Honda single-cylinder gasoline engine with 7 horsepower. The bike's maximum speed is 22 miles per hour. It can handle any off-road terrain. The four-wheel drive and low-pressure tires with a unique tread significantly increase its throughput. The seat is equipped with an excellent spring shock absorber. Even climbing stairs isn't terrible for this all-terrain vehicle. It can tackle angles of 35 degrees. How about mixing it up with a Cessna plane? The Brazilian pilot Tarso Marques created his beast based on the Rolls-Royce Continental V6 aircraft engine with 300 horsepower. This gorgeous baby is called the TMC Dumont. At the Daytona Bike Week Festival, this bike received a bunch of awards. Everyone was struck by the motorcycle's design and its main feature, 36-inch wheels without hubs on low-profile rubber. This motorcycle sculpture can ride. Its maneuverability, unfortunately, is lacking, but what a majestic engine roar! Of course, wheels without spokes and hubs look very impressive, but they're not good for potholes, water, or dirt. You can only ride on ideal roads. Obscene? Maybe, but still cool. This shark was created by Turkish designer Mahmut Doruk Erdem and race car engineer Mark Atkinson from Utah, USA. These designers met thanks to the internet. Mark had a broken motorcycle with a working engine, and Mahmut had a lot of ideas. The exterior of the bike was designed with inspiration from the BMW 328i, the legendary favorite of the Mille Miglia race. And the BMW K75 engine with a volume of 0.74 liters added the right power. Project Alpha is a real hot rod.
Australia's monster motorbike from hell. Now, there's nothing shy or retiring about this motorcycle. It's absolutely colossal, brash, and really heavy, and its main aim in life is to crush cars. So there are some really massive tires out there in the world. Huge machines like mining dump trucks use the biggest tires that you can imagine, and these get discarded frequently. So what can they be used for? Well, the most obvious choice is clearly to build a motorbike of monstrous proportions and play with it. Yes, Ray Bowman is an Australian ex-stuntman, and he chose a couple of old Caterpillar 992 wheel loader tires as he began his huge project. These were the biggest that would fit into a shipping container so as to be transported around the world. And that's some thinking outside the box, Ray. This bike looks completely bananas, but it is still rideable, after a fashion anyway. It's 29.5 feet long and 9.8 feet tall, and it's powered by a 5.2-liter Detroit diesel 6V53 two-stroke truck engine. So you just know that it's got some grunt. The monster motorbike's primarily used for squashing cars and caravans, since according to Bowman, this is what people want from entertainment, and he's not wrong. The show remains popular, and the monster motorcycle is the star attraction. Tallest rideable motorcycle. The world's tallest rideable motorcycle was built by a dude called Fabio Reggiani in Italy back in 2012. There probably aren't that many people out there competing in the category, tall motorcycles, because they may not have just caught on just yet. But don't knock it until you ride it. And my goodness, this is a big one indeed. It measures 16 feet and 8.78 inches tall, and that's measured from the ground to the top of the handlebars. It's almost 33 feet long and 8.2 feet wide. This monster motorcycle is powered by a 5.7-liter V8 motor featuring 280 horsepower. As well as being a big machine, this is also a really heavy one, weighing at over 11,000 pounds. Like other big bikes, the wheels are salvaged from massive industrial vehicles so as to give the motorcycle the stability and also the badass shape that you would expect from a monster bike like this. The world record would be completed in 2012 at a course in Italy, where it was then ridden over 100 meters and adjudicated by our old pals at the Guinness Book of World Records, who were there to jot down all the bike's vital statistics on their ever-ready clipboards. Oh, such heroes of the measuring world. Longest motorcycle. And obviously, when someone breaks a world record for the tallest of something, there's always some bright spark thinking, yes, but what about the longest one? So a guy in India took that challenge on, deciding to build the world's longest motorcycle back in 2014. He would end up smashing all the existing records out of the park and built a bike that's yet to be challenged in the length department. Measuring a staggering 86 feet and 3 inches long, it crushed the previous record by more than 13 feet. The other part of breaking this record is that the vehicle has to be rideable, so it was necessary that it be ridden consistently for at least 100 meters without stopping or the need for additional stabilizing. So with that all done, the boxes on the clipboard charts could all be ticked off, and the measuring by the Guinness nerds could all be officially signed off on. A new and robust world record was then created. The Tron Bike. Now, if your goal in life is to draw attention to yourself while also pretending to be in a science fiction movie, then this motorcycle is the answer to your prayers. The 2010 Disney movie Tron Legacy may not have set the world alight, but it did give plenty of people the desire to ride a Tron light cycle, and thanks to some particularly keen designers and engineers, there have been several attempts to make that fantasy into a street-legal bike, and it's finally been achieved. This crazy-looking motorcycle was designed by artist Daniel Simon. He created blueprints for the unique bike and then put them forward to Parker Brothers Concepts to be made into a reality. This custom motorcycle was built around the Xenon, an electric model bike with top speeds of around 70 miles per hour. The things that make this such a unique machine, and likely what draws its fans to it, are the electroluminescent strips on its rims and the super aero carbon fiber body kit that's built around its steel chassis. It looks the business, and the light show when it's in full effect is what fans have been jonesing for the whole time. The lucky few owners of this machine can enjoy such shiny futuristic features as customizable lights and colors, as well as thumbprint ignition and a built-in iPad. It all looks a bit like a fidget spinner, but don't let that put you off, especially if you've got $55,000 just burning a hole in your pocket. Verse Trike Rat Bike. Now this guy's clearly having a blast pulling donuts on his custom reverse rod trike. It looks like a lot of fun, doesn't it? I mean, the safety nerd in me's kind of freaking out that he's not wearing a helmet. Please, you should always protect your noggin, because that bike just won't look cool anymore with your brain smeared all over the place, you know? Be safe and then have fun. There are no stats that are available for this machine, but what I can tell you is that this guy goes by the name of Dennis Hom, and he built this particular beast around a Honda 750, cobbling it together with a whole raft of car parts. In order to create this rat rod trike. This was, in fact, his entry for the 2014 Rat Hard build-off at the Redneck Rumble, and whatever else, it sure is built for fun. Makes a lot of dust. I'm talking lots and lots of dust, and he'll have brown boogers for days, but it will be worth it. Frogman Rocket 2 1000 horsepower trike. This unusual trike is unlike anything we've seen thus far. It's the brainchild of British designer Tom Cotterill, who's also known as the Frogman. I see how they named this now. Yeah, that's very clever. But what does this weird-looking trike have going for it? Well, let's have a little look at its vital statistics. Well, first off, it can go faster than many of the fatties we've seen so far. This chrome and aluminum shiny machine is built around a supercharged 426 Hemi, so it has a fighting chance of churning out a decent speed with a bit of exciting oomph. It puts out 1000 horsepower and can do 0 to 100 in about 4 seconds flat. That's fairly effective. The top speed of this creation is actually not known, as tinkering and fiddling with it will likely boost some of the trike's credentials at some point, but it's safe to say that for now it does really go. And as well as having the stuff to go vroom, this machine also looks like something completely different as well. It sits super low with the feel of a vintage racing car, but the rider's position of a badass chopper. This unique machine is a total monster motorcycle that is, so far, although not necessarily the most enormous, perhaps the fastest and most exciting. It all really depends on what you're looking to shove between your thighs, isn't it? Something massive and chunky and really slow, or well-proportioned, handsome, and exciting? The choice is yours. Biggest trike in the world, the Trichosaurus. Now it's time for another trike, and this one is obscenely large. Just how you like them. The trike was built by a Brazilian farmer who took the building process to a whole new level and built what appears to be the largest trike ever to roll on 3 wheels. Except that we know there are about 100 other contenders for that particular title, and we do need to ask ourselves a couple of questions. The first being, when does a tractor stop being a tractor? And the second, what makes a motorcycle into a motorcycle and not a tractor? This farmer may have taken a tractor or two and given them a skillful and imaginative chop. The result is a massive bike, which upon closer inspection has some extremely tractor-like features. I mean, it even still sounds like a tractor. Now I know it is certainly impressive. It is indeed trike-shaped, and that's because it's a massive trike-shaped tractor. Or am I wrong? Let me know what you think about this farmer's extraordinary trike, in the comments down below, and let's try to figure out this philosophical puzzle together. 48-cylinder Kawasaki. This insane custom-built monster bike is based on the 2-stroke Kawasaki triples. Its creation is cobbled together from a series of engines that were taken from Kawasaki S1 KH250s, and it boasts a total displacement of 4,200 cubic centimeters, which apparently is a lot. Although it's billed as an improbable 48-cylinder engine, it actually has 49. The 48-cylinder is too hard to start, so the guy that created this particular monster added what he calls a donkey engine instead of a starter motor, in this case a little sub-50cc engine, which is started and then is used to start the colossal 48-cylinder engine itself. Just that in and of itself is a feat of motorcycle engineering, let alone when you add to the fact that this bike is in fact just about rideable. If you have some intense upper body strength and a whole bunch of core balance, that is. The engine and the box alone weigh over a ton, so you wouldn't want a tipper in your driveway, or be at a stoplight for that matter. Then again, riding a motorcycle like this one isn't for those of a flimsy or nervous disposition. They make granny mobiles for those purposes. Motorcycle with an airplane engine. Now, where do motorcycle enthusiasts go after they've started stuffing massive car engines into their custom designs? How much bigger could they actually go? Where is even left to be? Well, how about the world of aviation engines? And really, why the heck not? The TMC Dumont is one of those sorts of concept bikes that's given the additional moniker of being an art bike. This euphemistic title generally means looks pretty good with the eyeballs, but it'll probably go all to hell if you try and ride it. So this may be one that needs to return to the drawing board before you'll actually see anybody driving it. And that's just as well, really, since it contains a flipping aeroplane engine. Surely the thing is going to make a right racket. Because that engine is a 300 horsepower Rolls-Royce Continental V6, which was once part of a 1960s aircraft. Outside of the engine, this bike sits on a 36-inch wheel and looks like no other motorcycle you've ever seen before. Or likely ever will again, barring some sort of bizarre futuristic movie taking the look of this thing into their aesthetic. Frankly, it doesn't even look like the most practical thing to ride, and possibly doesn't even really go around corners without dumping the rider off. The sheer logistical puzzle of this one is enough to boggle the mind, although frankly I'm easily boggled. Do you think this one would actually work? Would you really want to ride it? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now I know that most of us have spare engines just laying around. It's pretty standard stuff, and likely as not it's probably a classic vintage model. The standard engine to just have sitting around to use on a rainy day turns out is an Aston Martin V12. What? You don't have one of those? Well, that's weird. Apparently, one very enthusiastic bike builder had been tripping over just such an engine in his garage, and then decided it would be put to much better use in a vehicle that goes vroom. So he ended up building one around it. This DIY project was spotted at the Essen Motor Show in Germany, and it really did look like the business. Now, if you like that sort of thing, that is. With custom-built everything and a paint job of an imaginative mind, everything about this bike is unique. The goal was originally to build something around the Aston Martin engine and harness the power of that automobile in the more compact frame of a motorcycle. The result? Basically achieve that. It's chunky on account of the sheer size of a supercar engine, to be honest, but aside from the slightly bloated appearance, you simply can't fault the guy's dedication to his self-imposed challenge. And it does most definitely go vroom. Number 13. The Gun Bus 410. Although this hog is basically built with Texas-sized dimensions, it was actually created in southwest Germany and is the current title holder of world's biggest running motorcycle, meaning that this is actually a bike that's in production and available to mere mortals like you and I. That's right, you can own this thing. But what does the Gun Bus 410 actually have to shout about? Well, turns out it's quite a lot, actually. It's fuel-injected, 45-degree, 6,728cc 410 cubic inch V-twin, runs through a 3-speed transmission with reverse, and it puts out 523 foot-pounds of torque. Weighing in at a hefty 1,433 pounds, it's quite a chunky monster to handle, and it won't enjoy being flung around corners with reckless abandon, but then again, that's not what you're looking for in a ride like this, is it? This big beast looks every bit as good as it sounds, and is likely to be one of the most exciting things landing between the thighs of a monster motorcycle enthusiast near you any day now. It has all the big bike credentials that you're looking for, but are you big enough to handle it? This huge beast of a trike has been given the nickname The Rocket, and it's pretty fitting for a title for this motorcycle because it has size, but it's also quick. This trike hot rod is a custom-built masterpiece of engineering and grunt. It's built to ride and not just to look at. The Rocket is totally street legal, and that makes it even more impressive when you actually see it. The custom build of this trike allowed Tom Cotterill, the man behind the Rocket, to incorporate as much power as he needed to propel this road giant out of his imagination and onto the open streets. He included a 1,200 horsepower Hemi V8 engine for the power and the luxury sound as well, of course. And all that trike really needs is a whole lot of custom-built suspension to make for a smooth and comfortable ride, because who isn't looking for that? SRK Cycles' Tower Trike is also in the ever-increasing gaggle of bikes that claim to be the biggest and the best. There's so much boasting in the world of big-ass bikes, isn't there? It's as much about the swagger as it is the size, after all. This Colossus weighs 11,000 pounds, although 200 pounds of that is actually accounted for by the huge metal cross on the back, and this is a design choice. But it's also a convenient roll bar, all in case an accident should befall the rider of the bike. The beast is powered by a twin-charged diesel engine, meaning that it's both turbocharged and supercharged, and all of that generates 335 horsepower. So it can actually go as well. And although it is gargantuan, this monster motorcycle is actually completely street legal. It features seat belts, mirrors, indicators, and headlights. And frankly, given the gigantic size and bulk of this thing, it would likely hold its own considerably better in an accident than any regular-sized bike would ever manage. Yet another contender in the tallest of all the motorcycles category comes from a guy by the name of Gregory Dunham in the United States. He built a behemoth that was 11 feet and 3 inches tall to the top of the handlebars, and also measures a sizable 20 feet and 4 inches long, weighing a hefty 2.948 tons. Unlike the other bikes in this category of world record attempts, the Monster motorcycle's actually built to ride. It's equipped with an 8.3-liter V8 engine and features 500 horsepower that's connected to a 2-speed transmission in order to get it moving. And it can shift. This bike has a massive top speed of 65 miles per hour, so it's actually a pleasure to ride even if it is enormous. Back in the 1990s, all you really needed to do to become the world's tallest motorcycle title holder was to build a bike that was just a piddly 7.5 feet tall. A baby compared to the successor to the throne. Built in 1998 and measured by the Guinness Clipboard Clutchers in '99, the Big Toe was a totally tricked-out motorcycle with all the snazziest features, which included a massive sound system. So this bike would be built to be used, not just to break records. The internals were run by a 1975 vintage Type E Jaguar 300 horsepower 5.3-liter engine, and this powerful engine allowed the heavyweight ride to reach speeds of up to 62 miles per hour, although the creator freely admits that the bike is best ridden on short journeys and really prefers to stay in the 31 mile per hour category. So that's a bit more granny mobile than it is easy rider, but then again, you can't have it all. The other thing that happens when you get properly involved with attempting to break records is that it can cost you a few bucks. This one's likely to cost over $80,000 and took 6 years to build. But when you make all the parts yourself, it's going to take a long time. This isn't all about speed though. This is a labor of love in every respect. Well, the full moon is certainly an attention grabber in the style department. That much is certain. This concept machine is unlike anything else you may have seen before, but what does it actually do? Named for the big shiny front wheel, which is a sizable 30 inches of aluminum and carbon, the full moon hasn't entirely focused all of its efforts on looking good just at the front. This machine has a curvaceous rear end that'll leave most observers surprised, if not slightly bamboozled. It may be elegant and, depending on your personal preferences, beautiful. But it does seem just the teensiest bit impractical. Imagine the carnage if you were to encounter a speed bump. That is unlikely to happen though. This machine is not considered to be street legal, so for now, it is just about admiring and lavishing with attention on the internet. But what does this machine have going on between its wheels? Well, the master craftsmen behind this design have popped in an S&S Knucklehead 1524cc engine and added a couple of custom-made Akrapovic exhausts just to make sure the sides of this bike live up to the promise of its outsides. Add to that the completely hidden cabling and the fact that this bike has fully automated steering, and you can see why it might make it into a list of motorcycles of the future. I just wonder if it will ever get the chance to hit the open road before it becomes a motorcycle of the past. Now, would you just look at the size of this thing? The Dodge Tomahawk is a monstrous machine of epic proportions and is certainly not for the faint of heart. If anything, this bike wouldn't look out of place in a Mad Max movie, except that it's very shiny indeed and would need to get distinctly grubbier to fit onto Fury Road. No wonder it needs 4 wheels, really. The 500 horsepower engine is a Viper V10 with twin throttle bodies, which are mounted right up on the front. And this thing wails too. It has the intensely satisfying rumble of a really robust engine, and that's something you just can't beat. And frankly, all the electric bikes in the world are never going to match that feeling when a bike starts up and growls between your legs, are they? This motorcycle is so powerful that it needs 4 wheels just to handle it, so you can imagine the sound that it actually makes. That all being said, this machine is not available to just any Tom, Dick, or Harry. Only 10 were ever made, the original and 9 replicas. They were sold for a staggering $550,000 each, and although completely drivable, they were in no way whatsoever road legal. So that's a lot of cash for an erstwhile ornament. It takes a whole load of passion and man-hours to spend your spare time building a custom motorcycle from scratch in your garage, but it also takes a whole lot of know-how and skill. Luckily, this has been more than a hobby for Sam Turner, the creator of this bonkers diesel motorcycle. He's been working on these kind of insane designs ever since he was a child, and he began riding motorcycles at the age of 8, so this stuff just kind of flows through his veins. Just how a bike that looks like this can start life as a small Chinese diesel engine? Well, that's the magic of it, isn't it? This big beast is built around a Yanmar 840cc direct injection diesel V-twin that came out of an old cement mixer, and it's connected to a couple of turbochargers to give it that pleasing boost that you would expect. The rest of the machine consists of so many custom parts and extraordinary engineering choices that it is just utterly unique. This guy built the frame that this bike's guts rest in with various things that he just had laying around his workshop, and while it does have a distinct look and aspects of DIY, there's nothing amateur in the man's skills of designing and building his vision. It's an intimidating vehicle and is absolutely road legal. If you saw this one coming though, you might wonder what kind of dystopian future that you had slipped into.